Today is June 26, 2025. The time is 6 p.m. and this is the Acushnet Planning Board. This meeting is being recorded for future viewing on the town's YouTube page, on the cable channel, town's cable channel, and we are live via Zoom tonight. Can I get a motion to open the planning board meeting?
Motion to open the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have a full board tonight. Can we introduce ourselves?
Victoria Alfaro, town planner.
Peter Guyappa, member. Steve Boucher, member.
Mark Francois, chairman.
Brian Dishamps, member.
Rick Ellis, vice chairman.
Okay. Minutes. We were all sent the minutes from the June 10th meeting. Everybody but Steve was in attendance. Did anybody have a chance to look these over? Comments, questions, concerns?
I make a motion to accept the minutes from June 10th.
I have a motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, discussion. A request for a minor modification from 540R Main Street, map 11, lot 10. Applicant TJA Solar Clean Energy. Owner Madeline and Richard Gavush. Representative Asa Smith from Atlantic Design Engineering. The scope of the work is requesting the relocation of an equipment pad to the outer array area and the removal of the interior access road. Anybody here from TJA Solar? Please introduce yourself.
How you doing? My name is Ed Schweitzer. I'm actually with Catalyze. We own the project. TJA was the original applicant. And we've been working with Atlantic on this change. I'm just going to share my screen. There we go. So we're here to discuss a 2.7 megawatt AC solar project, as you said, at 540R Main Street in Acushnet. A brief project overview. So just some sizing characteristics. Like I said, 2.7 megawatts AC, 2 megawatts, 4 megawatt hour battery. The project company is, as you indicated, TJA, 540R Main Street Solar, Acushnet LLC. Down to the permitting, the special permit and the stormwater management permit was approved back in August of 2021. We met last year and extended it on 8/8. So it's valid through, actually valid through 2026 now because of the omnibus bill that was passed earlier. The wetland approvals from the Conservation Commission, we confirmed that last week that they're still valid through June of next year. The interconnection application was submitted in 2018. The ISA was executed in 2023. We acquired the project from TJA in 2020 at the end of 2021. And the SMART award was issued in 2023. And as I said, the current request is a de minimis change to the site plan that involves removing the interior access road and shifting the equipment pad to align with the perimeter road. As far as the project and the path forward, the conservation restrictions, so there's protected species of turtle on the site. We've been working with the state on all of the permitting required for that. We're hoping to have that closed out by the end of this year. We're continuing on with our MEPA approvals. That's part of the reason why we're here tonight, is to finalize or to get this site plan approved so we can finalize our engineering to then go and apply for MEPA. We're expecting to apply for the building permit early next year. All indications from Eversource is that the line upgrades for interconnection should be complete in the first half of next year, and we're expecting to hit COD on the project by the end of next year. So what I have here is the originally approved site plan. In the red rectangle there is the location of the access road that we're requesting to be removed. As you can see, there's 3 small equipment pads that will also be relocated. And then this is the updated version. Sorry, it's the line weight's a little dark on that, but as you can see, we've removed the interior road and we've consolidated the equipment pads and just moved them over to the east side of the site there. So that's why I'm here tonight, is to, request this change so we can finalize our site plan and our engineering and move forward with MEPA on this.
Does this project have, so you're eliminating the center access road, but does it have an access road all the way around?
Yeah, you can see the dark area just on the inside of the fence. It was required by, I believe, the fire department, so as one of the conditions of the original site plan. So
you're
yes, it
just
does.
eliminating the road that was accessing the,
Exactly.
in the middle.
And it doesn't change the system size at all. It's just a more efficient way of using the site and, less pervious surface, or impervious surface, sorry.
Now, if I remember correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, there were issues with drainage at the front of this property near the entranceway. Am I correct?
I don't think so, because we had our stormwater management plan approved by this board back in 2021. We haven't deviated from that plan.
Oh, all right, my bad.
So, if I may, I got a question here. Now, are we changing the size,
No,
the megawatt size as was originally?
no, it's just we're shifting some stuff around.
Right, but the amount of megawatts generated from this, from here, I see all the panels have all gone basically perpendicular to the original one. The layout's different, if I'm looking at this correctly.
Yeah, we went from a fixed tilt to a tracker.
If I'm reading it, it's-
So you went from a fixed panel to a tracker, so the panels move?
Yes.
Okay, it's a little different.
But the overall system size, megawatt AC, is consistent between the two.
This one says 4.3, right?
Yeah.
The 4.3 I think is DC, and then at AC it's 2.7. We've reduced the overall size AC since the originally approved plan, but there's no difference in system size from what is here and what is here.
Physical size,
Correct.
generation size is different.
It's been reduced.
What's that?
It's been reduced.
It's been reduced.
Yeah.
Now, I know it's not with us, but I know you had something with conservation. Did you have like a pond or a vernal pool or something in the middle of the site at one time? Did that get resolved, or is that still?
No, all the wetlands are to the eastern part of the site, east of the fence line. And then there's a small conservation area. It's that hatch down at the bottom.
Gotcha. All right. I thought there was something right in the middle, but again, that's not with us, that's with them. And you've gotten approval from fire and police for this?
Yeah, they sent it that they were okay earlier this week or late last.
Difference is that a minor change, we reduced looks like it's significantly reduced from 4.3 to 2.7.
Both 4 what did it get reduced to? I'm sorry.
The 4.3 I think is DC, and I'm giving.
You're going by AC.
Yeah, I'm going by AC.
So staying with just AC, did it get reduced or increased at all?
No, it didn't get rid. It was
Same
reduced.
size.
It was reduced.
It was reduced?
Yeah.
By how much?
So the original interconnection application was for 5 megawatts AC. Then that got reduced, and then what we're at now is 2.7.
That's a significant change.
But the size of the array didn't change?
We opted to go with the trackers, which require larger inter-row spacing.
So you have less panels?
Yeah. So we've worked within the approved footprint, and it's just a matter of us trying to optimize kind of what our output is based on what the interconnection costs are, which for this area are very high, and versus, you know, what we can do with the site, and this is what we came up with.
Now, does that affect, I don't know if you already had a glare study done. I know if the panels are stationary, you get a glare study, but you still do a glare study when they're tracking?
We have to get all of our FAA approvals, yeah.
Okay. Questions, gentlemen?
I mean, seems like a relatively minor change.
I'll entertain a motion.
I would make a motion to approve the minor change as submitted to go with the reduction of the interior access road, the relocation of the equipment to the side, and the reduction in array output to 2.7 megawatts.
AC.
A second.
AC.
I got a motion, I got a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, you guys have a good night.
All right. Moving right along. Public hearing. Continued site plan review and special permit of 211 Middle Road, map 23, lot 29, 29A, 29B. Applicant Rewild Renewables LLC, representative is Bill Thomas Inc. Scope of the work is a proposed 6 megawatt solar photovoltaic development. Introduce yourself, please.
Good evening, board. Zachary Farkas, Rewild Renewables with me, Greg Sampson, and Dan Feeney on the project team from Sullivan and Worcester, and Beals and Thomas. Here talking about the 211 Mill Road solar project. Been going on for quite some time. I know the board's up to speed and Victoria's up to speed, but for those watching, the property is a 55-acre property off Middle Road. It's home to the White Dairy Farm operations, as well as some other industrial uses along the eastern portion of the site. The western and central portion of the site houses approximately a 30-acre field on which we have proposed about half of it being utilized for a solar project. We've been working on this project since March of 2018, where similar to many projects in the area, it's been delayed and delayed and delayed by the utilities study process. That study process kind of broke toward the fall of 2024, and we saw that they were finally going to get through their studies, and we kicked this project kind of into gear from an entitlement standpoint. We started with Conservation Commission and going through the ANRAD, ORAD process to lock in the wetland lines in May of 2024, and that kind of created our developable area and showed us where on the field we could set the array and where our setbacks had to be, etc. We submitted our notice of intent to Conservation Commission along with the application materials to Planning Board in September of 2024. And as you guys are aware, we've gone through 5 rounds of peer review with Bill Madden and his team at GAF Engineering. This board, as well as Conservation, directed us to work with Bill through this whole process to really engineer this project so that it was going to perform in the field exactly how we expected to perform on paper and in the reports. We talked at some of the early meetings about how some projects did not perform in the field as expected, and we really went with a belt and suspenders approach. It took a long time, there was a lot of tweaking, but we really appreciate Bill Madden and his team's efforts to make sure bylaws, stormwater requirements, et cetera, were all met or exceeded. And happy to say that we did so. This board, along with other boards in town, Conservation Commission and the Board of Health, should have received on or about June 17th a clearance letter from Bill commenting that this final plan set you have in front of you, I believe it's dated June 9th, meets or exceeds all the requirements from not only a bylaw standpoint, but a stormwater standpoint. There were a number of plan changes that were very, very engineering heavy over the last 8 months, but there's a couple items I'll point as I see you guys looking at the plan set. The first is the berm and fence that we're using for screening was expanded very slightly at the northern portion. Bill noted that there was a couple folks at the very top of Rhonda Drive on the New Bedford side of the property that might not have been screened properly, so you'll see that berm's been extended by a few yards. We also continued to increase our gravel road to meet fire standards. We ended up with a 20-foot road. Pretty big site, right? A 20-foot circular road around it creates a lot of impervious surface. So every time we touch something, we had to go back through what is a 400 or 500 page stormwater report to rerun that. And that was really the cause of a lot of the iterations we worked through with Bill and GAF. So we got there, you'll see the main basin that's just at the old golf course driving range area was expanded by about 40% from the original drawing. Might be hard to catch with your eye right now, but that basin has really been designed to meet or exceed all the stormwater standards that we need on site. Also, the engineering team at Beals and Thomas came up with a really interesting way to utilize the smaller area of Class C soils on site. You'll see about midway through the site, right here, we've got a series of 12-inch depressions that spill over into each other to really slow the water, hold the water, and allow these C soils in this area to take back some of that groundwater. The rest of the site is almost wholly Class D, does not do a good job taking water, so that's where we spent a lot of time on the basins. Finally, we had a stormwater main that ran right through the field that serviced the plumbing company that's just north of the White dairy operations. We were originally going to build around that stormwater, that sewer main, but Bill really wanted us to move it so that we had full access to it, just in case the owners needed to service it. So that sewer is going to be moved into the road. That sewer line will be moved into our access road. There'll be manhole covers. It'll be fully accessible at any time. Should it need any servicing. There hasn't been anything, but you never know. So that was a big change. And then, as I said, a number of small items that were iterated on multiple times through the process, through the 8 months working through the 5 peer review letters. But I wanted to highlight those couple items just so you guys could see what the material changes were from that first iteration in September to this final iteration that's dated in June. Those are the notes I have, but ultimately we told you guys that first meeting that we were going to do everything we could to engineer this project to the best of our ability, and I'm pretty happy with how we came out. And it was a challenge to get through a lot of the peer review, but I think it made for a better project and a project that takes into account all the stakeholders that we have here. So I appreciate your patience as we work through it, but it's my hope that after any discussion with the board or the public, we can close this hearing and get moving toward construction.
I'm looking at these infiltration cells that you've got on the left-hand side here.
Yes, sir.
So they're just basically small basins, basically, and the panels are going in them as well?
Over them.
Over them?
Probably the better way to say it.
Yeah.
But yeah, all we'll have is the racking system, the kind of erector set on there will just be a little bit longer. It looks like a lot visually when you look at the plans, but we're talking about 12 inches, and it's really just meant to really slow that water. They spill into each one depending on the level of storm that we get.
Yeah.
But it was something Bill really pushed for. I think we were looking to just let those soils work, but that system really helps just keep that water there as opposed to sheet flowing onto some of those D soils.
And you extended the berm. Remind the board and everybody else, how big is the berm?
It's an 8-foot berm with a 10-foot fence on top. And we extended it. It was originally just in line with that northern fence. And so we only extended it a bit more. There's 2 properties up here just on the north side of that cul-de-sac off Phillips Road that Bill was concerned that they could kind of see just around that corner. So we pushed it up another couple yards.
And you have a 20-foot access road all the way around.
Not out of the graciousness of our heart. It's a lot. And that amount of impervious surface was one of the main things that contributed to the, our challenges on the stormwater side. But
Well, you made the fire chief happy. And you got an okay for the 10-foot high stockade fence? You got the approval from
Bill?
Bill? Well, it finally comes down to Andy now to approve that fence, because
It's gonna be engineered.
we provided you guys with an engineering spec. We hired a structural engineer to put together the spec. And I think we talked about this the last time I was here.
yeah,
Anything can be engineered, right?
Yeah.
So he put together what he would do to build it. So that was in there just to give you guys a frame of reference. But yes, it'll all go to the building department. It'll have to, meet the structural standards, be stamped by a structural engineer, et cetera. But that kind of standalone design that we put together is very simply likely what we'll go with.
so it's a dirt berm with a fence on top, there's no type of vegetative screening at all. And
There's a lot of grass back there, and so this site, like many of the sites we do, gets a pollinator seed mix that has, a big variety of wildflowers and other kind of pollinating native species. So we'll likely plant that on both sides. It'll be obviously mowed 2-3 times a year on the project side, but it won't be touched on that side. So it will grow. It will grow quite quickly, quite high. So no landscaping per se, but sometimes a line of Charlie Brown Christmas trees right there might not be as visually appealing as just letting it
Yeah,
kind
no,
of take.
I agree, and then you got the big fence,
Good berm in the back.
you got a berm and a fence.
Yeah, I don't know.
How tall are the panels?
They're about 9 feet at the highest point, the backside. So we're well over there. The reason why they're so much higher is we wanted to not only screen from the first floor windows, but from the second floor as well.
Well, I do know that Bill is quite thorough, so if it's past 3 GAF, then, like I said, he does quite a thorough job.
And one thing I didn't mention in the kind of opening discussion is we were here last night in front of the Conservation Commission, who has jurisdiction obviously over stormwater as well as wetlands protection, and they approved the project last night. So, again, I know this board's focused on stormwater as well generally, but that board went through it in some detail with us, and we closed and approved last night.
No, it's good to know, thank you.
Is there a maintenance, you're gonna put a wood fence, stockade fence on the top, that's the plan, right?
Yeah,
Is
it's
there
I call it a
some sort of
screening
maintenance
fence.
program for that fence? And they don't, for some reason, I don't see stockades fence last like they used to, they're putting in I guess a quality, something decent instead of, the Home Depot stockade fence, it's only about that thick.
Yeah, I'd say the simple answer is yes.
Okay.
But the more complicated answer is the bylaw requires me to screen this property,
Yeah.
this project. So in the event, if a portion of the fence did fail, you'd be able to see through it and we wouldn't be in compliance, and so we'd have to repair it.
Are there sureties in place for anything regarding the fence or?
There's gonna be a condition of the project, to provide $75,000 for the period of 5 years. So we hold it for 5 years,
Yeah,
for the screening
Gotcha.
of the project.
any questions, gentlemen?
So that screening berm is 6 feet high and a 10-foot high fence on top of that?
8 and 10.
Thought it was an 8-foot high.
8 and 10.
But it could be.
Is that
8 and 10.
8 and 10? That's a substantial screen.
Yeah.
Shape-wise,
It is. I don't know if there's anybody out in Zoom that wants to talk.
I don't think there's anyone.
plan. And here in the audience, I don't see anybody either. Questions, comments, concerns? So what do we vote, to accept plans as submitted, or what's the next process?
So you'd want to vote if there's no more public comment or deliberation, you want to vote to close the public hearing, and then you would want to make a motion if you want to approve the project.
There's nobody here, can we get a vote to close the public hearing?
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we've been discussing, do you have anything else to discuss?
Other than we got a construction plan, right? As well.
Oh, there's a picture, I didn't even notice, there's a picture of the fence on the very back page, if anybody's curious, which I didn't see originally.
I'm gonna make a motion to accept the plans as submitted.
And go to conditions? Yeah. And go to the conditions for the project, we've got to put those together, right?
Yeah, so, yeah, I drafted a list of some conditions, and then Bill had, like a special condition as well. I don't know if you wanna go through them here, or,
Yeah, with the, just so we know what they are, the public knows what they are.
not gonna read all of
They're
them.
not too long. Yeah.
The applicant has also reviewed this draft as well. So standard conditions, the project shall be constructed to conform to the plans and documents referenced in the documents reference section of this decision. Any substantial modifications to this decision or the approved documents referenced herein must be submitted to the planning board for its determination as to whether the modification constitutes a minor or major modification. If the board determines that the modification is minor in nature, it may approve the modification without holding a public hearing pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 11. If anyone has any questions, feel free to stop me as I keep going. The project shall be constructed in accordance with all applicable local, state, and federal permits and regulations, and the approval of any other town department or reviewing board committee. The project shall be constructed in compliance with the town of Acushnet Police and Fire Department standard regulations, and the applicant shall be responsible for maintaining safe vehicular access to the site to the satisfaction of police and fire throughout all phases of the project. Throughout the construction period, the applicant shall maintain the existing travelway and the public right-of-way servicing the site to a condition equal to or better than the pre-existing conditions to the satisfaction of the Department of Public Works or state agency having jurisdiction. Unless otherwise approved by the planning board, the hours of operation during construction shall be Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturday, 9 to 5. For construction of the access road only, work is limited to Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 6, Saturday, 9 to 5. Heavy equipment operation will be limited to Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 5 p.m., and is not allowed on Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays without prior approval of the planning board. The applicant shall provide temporary construction signage on the public right-of-way servicing the site. Prior to construction, the owner shall schedule a pre-construction meeting with a few town departments listed in here. At the time of the pre-construction meeting, the contractor shall prepare and submit a schedule of operations, including the anticipated vehicle trip generation on the public right-of-way to the planning board and the various town departments referenced above. Prior to the issuance of the building permit and the start of construction, the applicant shall provide proof of recording of this decision to the planning board and the building department. This decision is not valid until it has been recorded at the registry of deeds.
Victoria, can I pause?
Yep.
Can you just restate what the hours of operation were for the construction? I thought I heard 9 to 5.
For Saturday.
What about for Monday to Friday?
For Monday through Friday, it's 7 to 6 p.m.
Thank you, sorry.
No, it's okay. I
Just
might have
misheard it,
misspoke.
yeah.
Sorry.
No problem, thank you. Just wanted to make sure we...
No, absolutely.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
feel free to jump in. During construction, the applicant shall conduct daily cleanup up to 3. A final as-built plan shall be submitted by the applicant after construction is complete. Issuance of a site plan approval by the planning board. shall neither be treated as nor deemed to be approval by the Board of Health for a permit for the construction use of an individual sewage system, which is not necessary for this one, but it's a standard condition. A duly authorized agent of the town shall have the right to enter upon the site to ensure continued compliance with the decision. The applicant shall notify the planning board when the project is substantially complete, so a semi-final inspection of the completed site work can be scheduled. Substantial completion is the stage in the progress of the site work when, in the opinion of the planning board, is sufficiently complete in accordance with this decision, so the applicant can occupy or utilize the site for its intended use. The planning board reserves the option to require a bond or other surety value of the remaining work as a condition of substantial completion. The permit holder must notify the planning board of any intent to transfer the permit and make arrangements for the transfer of the bonds or issuance of new bonds. Any failure to notify the planning board shall result in a violation of the permit and the issuance of a cease and desist by the zoning enforcement officer. So those are all the standard conditions. Are there any questions about that? Okay, so the rest are project specific. Prior to the start of construction, the applicant shall post a bond or surety amount in the form of an escrow agreement or other form acceptable to the town in the amount of $505,536 for the decommissioning of the solar array. And for the replacement of the landscape screenings and the fence, $75,000. The applicant will post a bond or for other form of surety. We will hold that for 5 years following the completion of work, shown in the approved plans to the satisfaction of the planning board. Should the bonds detailed herein expire, the applicant shall be required to reestablish the bonds within a period of 30 days from receiving the notice. And then the last one is actually related to the fencing. This was the suggestion of Bill from GAF. That construction phase drawings specific to the fence post design specifications on the screening fence detail sheet C4.1 should be provided to the planning board for review and approval prior to the issuance of the building permit.
C4?
C4.1. So we're gonna use the one that's here. The one that's in the picture is truly just a stockade fence, but the one behind it over there. In the picture, this shows 6-inch fence boards on the plan.
And when you say picture, you mean the back? This is
One
the
in the back.
detail, the back is just a rendering. So
Just a
yes,
rendering,
that
okay.
detail would go in.
All right.
That was all the conditions.
That was all of it?
Yeah.
You sure? Good job.
Thank you. Other than this, the rest of it falls underneath Andy anyway.
Yeah.
Size of the fence goes.
Yeah. Now, do we have Bill Mann going out during construction at all, or?
I'm not sure. As far as what I put in here, there would be a semi-final inspection. I'm not sure what Concom is going to have done for like the stormwater portion of it.
During the process of construction?
Yeah. So yeah.
Prior to setting the panels, probably,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
all your work will be done except for setting the panels, right?
Yeah, civil work will be started first before we start driving foundations and racks.
We are required to have third-party inspections of all the erosion and sedimentation controls under federal permit requirements.
Okay.
Yes.
So that is either contractor will hire someone or the applicant will hire someone like Beals and Thomas to do the weekly inspections for that.
Okay. Thank you. Anything else?
No, I'm all set.
Good. You good?
Can you just repeat what the motion was?
To accept.
To accept the plans as submitted,
With the
and
condition?
then with the conditions that
Okay,
you just read.
perfect. All right, we're good.
So did we vote? We got a motion, we got a second, did we actually vote it?
I don't
No.
think so.
We haven't got a
Okay,
second.
we got his motion. You got a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Unanimous.
Victoria, thank you very much.
No,
Good luck.
absolutely. I probably have to stamp in till next week when I'm back. Okay, I just want to make sure. Yeah. Oh, absolutely, I'll send it over to you. Okay. No problem. Thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we'll do one.
No, that would be a mess.
Okay, just finishing up here, next on the agenda is other business. Nothing else came in within the last 48 hours. We have a town planner update on the master plan.
Yes, just a brief update. I just want to inform the board that the master plan committee has reviewed some draft goals and strategies and made some comments back to Serped for them to revise. I will be sending those out to the board in case you guys have any comments on it, you know, as a board. And then we will be having a public engagement event on July 19th. It's a Saturday at Pope's Park. The time is to be determined. I believe there's a tournament or something going on there. So we either want to kind of go right before or right after, just, you know, not to confuse with the excitement of what's going on there. And that's pretty much it on that end. So we're getting pretty close. This should be wrapped up by the end of the year.
Could you just repeat the date, please?
July 19th. It's a Saturday.
It's held outside at Pope Park.
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. Our next meeting is Thursday, July 17th. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to bring up, discuss? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good night.